Today I'm going to talk about the different functions love and anger play in business, as a spiritual alchemy, or how spirituality can impact how you move through business. And I'm going to use that in reference to textile waste collection and how I've used anger to spur change and now love to spur transformation. So let's talk about that today. I've not lost my mind, relax. So basically, you've seen me go through the evolution of anger. So 6 years ago, we started to see municipal involvement start to happen in the sector. And wherever there are politicians, there are lobbyists, not far behind. So then became special interest groups getting involved. And in the beginning, I tried to be part of the solution. I tried to educate law enforcement. That failed. I tried to work with municipalities, which I did. I created the first ever municipal collection program for textile in Ontario. So I tried to do all that stuff, but despite, my pleading, monopolization still took a hold and Canadian interest fell to the wayside. And over time, more and more injustice has happened as this has started to steamroll, and I finally got angry enough to say something. So in that anger came the bravery to say what I was afraid to say flat out before. So I finally did. I had that catalyst. And people have started to pay attention. Whether they agree with me or not, people are paying attention. I'm a little bit hard to ignore when I'm angry. But I realize that anger is not transcendent. It's not a good alchemic base to start transformation in. You know what I mean? So I had to somehow transcend that feeling of being stuck. But when I look at the injustices in the industry and this big Goliath who's, laying waste to industry development and diversification, it was hard for me to move past that. How do I find love in that? And I know that it's love that is truly what is transformational. So I've been meditating on this obstacle. I went away for, 2 weeks and got some really good ideas, on infrastructure that could be developed or processes that could be developed that could undo some of the trade tensions we're having in East Africa, that could, fix a few things in the industry locally and abroad. And, so I was inspired in that sense, but still angry. So to have all these great, wonderful ideas while you're still angry, it's really hard to, move. There's no movement in anger. So I had to transcend it. I was stuck. So Sunday, I needed to get my spirit right. So Sunday, I attended a sermon online by the Infinite Assembly, and timely as it was all about how life is not fair and was not designed to be fair. But that doesn't mean that it's not righteous. That whatever's happening, as shitty as it feels to you, that on some level it's not righteous, or that there isn't another opportunity to be born from that space. So that was a difficult, because it was basically suck it up. The world isn't fair, suck it up, figure it out. So I had to swallow that bitter medicine, and I did. And I meditated on it for this entire week and, figuring it out or whatever. And I thought, okay, so my anger is not going to fix anything. Complaining that it's not just isn't necessarily going to change anything. So I can put in the complaint, which I will, through the Canadian Competition Bureau, and allow law enforcement to hopefully do what it's supposed to do. And it worked in Vancouver, so it should work here too. But that's going to take some time, and it's still, they may be able to get municipalities to back off, but the solution still has to be created, even if the Competition Bureau works. So I can't just put all my eggs in that basket. So while I'm pursuing that, what else can I do? Municipalities that are having these monopolistic issues, and we're going to have very open, frank discussions about some of the spin that's been happening. But frankly, I've already done that. So whatever information any journalist or business or insider law enforcement needs to know about monopolization in this industry, I've got 30 soapbox videos at this point, I'm sure, talking about that very thing. So the information's there. I've done my part on that level. I've unpacked the garbage. Now we have to fix Ontario's problem with textile waste. So how do I do it? Because I felt the blockage, like this impediment of this Goliath was keeping me from doing that. So I meditated on it, and I was looking at this it was like a big black wall in front of me is what it felt like. And all of a sudden that black wall wasn't there anymore. And I had a sudden vision of Sri Richard and Namaste Moore. And when I was seeing them in this visualization, they were very radiant and laughing at me silly. Like that wall was a figment of my imagination. It really wasn't there. And although it exists in reality, it's not an impediment to me, because all these years they've been trying to put me out of business and get rid of me and silence me and intimidate me, and it's only made me stronger. So that's, what are they impeding exactly? Because I'm still here. So I realized, I thought of Netflix and Blockbuster Video. Did Netflix see Blockbuster Video as an impediment? And I worked at Blockbuster Video during the death rattle days. And I remember pleading with management about taking Netflix seriously, and they scoffed. They scoffed at Netflix. Did their scoffing and attempted undermining and not taking Netflix seriously, did that stop Netflix from becoming Netflix that we know now? Did not. So, and it was Blockbuster that eventually disappeared. Not because Netflix attacked them and ruined them and whatever, but the better Netflix got, the more redundant Blockbuster became. So they ended up dissolving by default. No effort of Netflix. Netflix just kept doing its own thing. And Blockbuster dissolved, just like magic. I love magic. So I thought, okay, where have I seen this in my own life? This smells familiar to me, this feeling, you know? So then my beautiful friend Renee Delaney appeared in my brain, in my mind's eye. And I flashed back to a conversation we had like maybe 4 years ago in my living room. And she said to me, I'm tired of being angry. She was studying the food system. I'm tired of being angry. I'm angry. Everywhere I look, I'm angry. And I'm angry at the politicians that prop this up. But I realize that they just don't know a better way. And I can just keep talking about it all I want, but these people need to see it. Just perpetuate whatever system they want. It's not my reality. I'm going to create my own reality. So I'm going to create a parallel food economy. Parallel economy, period. And over 4 years, this woman who's a broke single mom has done it. And all the right people came to her at the right time, from interested citizens to business owners to politicians to you name it. She's now got such a huge support system that this thing has a life of its own at this point. So she did it. So I thought, I have to renee this situation. It was love that eventually changed it. All that anger, the vitriol she sent to the industry wasn't building anything, but when she started rooting her actions in love, everybody rallied around to help her, me being one of them. So, and I'm so proud to be Textile Waste Diversion, to be part of her program. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to create the industry I keep telling is the industry is possible. So I guess I'm going to have to develop emerging markets, locally and overseas. Okay. All right. I guess I have to create diversity in the industry. Okay, all right. And just like that, as soon as I thought of Renee, I started seeing the textile version of a parallel economy, and it just opened up right in front of me. All the pieces around the world, how it would fit, how Canada would benefit, how it would help competition and diversity, and that I could do it starting right now. Doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, doesn't matter what municipalities are doing or not doing or whatever, it's there. And right at that moment, I came out of my meditation, logged on Facebook, and there's a post by Namaste Moore that reads, "All systems change. It is part of the cosmic order. Typically, sustainable change happens gradually. It is hubris to assume that whatever is one's issue du jour should then destroy the entirety of a system. All systems have built-in immune systems to prevent that sort of thing. But the soft, gentle, loving, moment-by-moment micro-movement towards a higher state, this is evolution, and this is what cannot be stopped. This is transformation."